Right, let's review this then. It's a Bush V7SDW. Now, the W means for white, and if you get an SDB, it's a black version. Still, this is exactly the same dryer. And also, even though it's not really presently on our market right now, it's only just gone off our markets, and there is tons of these used. It's worth reviewing this today because, of course, if you're buying one used, you might want to see how it all works. Also, if you get the Logic branded tumble dryer, which is what Curry's make, I say Curry's, it's all the same manufacturer, then all it has is slightly more programs than this. Only slightly more though. So, right, it's a vented tumble dryer. It takes 7 kilograms of clothes, which I'll show you in a minute. It has a label here if it's a Bush, but it kind of peeled off. And there's a label down here to remind you to read the instructions first and to also clean the lint filter every use, as well as inside the door, also to remind you to insert the filter before use. There's also a customer helpline up here, and a few other stickers you don't really need to know, just a few reminders. Right, so inside the door we have our fluff lint filter, and the way this works is you pull it out and you've got 2 sides here. It's like a hinge design, so under normal use it's a bit annoying, but these can come apart like so, because obviously if you notice here I have missed this bit. I haven't, it's just that it kind of gets obscured when this is open like so. Bit of a design flaw, but one pro to kind of I really like is the mesh material. It's actually quite strong and quite just really nice actually. So this shouldn't rip over a period of use. With most other tumble dryers, any tumble dryers, the mesh tends to be quite flimsy, especially like those on White Knights of the past, although White Knight's now gone. But even like Hotpoint and Indesit and a few other top name brands, their meshes are quite flimsy and over time will rip away or rip apart with holes in. Not so much with these. So it's pretty good. Also, another thing to note when putting it in, make sure that this bit is facing towards the drum, because at the back here we have 3 holes, and actually this is where a lot of the air gets vented through, so that's how that works. Inside we've got a drum with 2 paddles, quite big paddles actually, with a pattern design actually to create air pockets around the drum to create an even finish. And we've actually got a plastic door bowl, but don't worry about it getting too hot, because one downside with this is how long it kind of takes to dry things, simply because of the heater size. It's only 1800 watts as opposed to maybe 2500 watts to like my Miele exact, next to it here, or a Bosch, or anything like that. So drying times can be a little lengthy, but it does dry at a lower heat as well. So it's kind of ups and downs. Talking of heats, this is our control panel at the top here. Turn it on, and we get a nice beep. And at the end of the cycle too, we also get a beep. We've got 4 programs, so we've got cotton, synthetic, 1 hour, and mix. But there's something to be said here, and it's the fact that actually synthetics just still dries at the same heat as cottons does. Right, we've also got 3 dryness settings on cotton and 2 on synthetic and mix. So we have standard, which will get it store dry, ready to be put away in the cupboard. Airing, which will actually leave it damp dry, though in actual use it got it dry just about spot on. And then full plus, which is extra dry, effectively. But what this will do, it's more if you've got multi-layered fabrics such as jeans and shirts. So that's good for that. Then we've got an option which can be added on. It's called anti-crease. At the end of the cycle, it will periodically tumble the clothes for up to 2 hours. If you want to end it any sooner, you can just by opening the door, which I'll demonstrate today. Right. Right, these are our connections at the back. We have, so at the back here we have our ratings plates. Then here we have our mains inlet right at the top. Obviously the screw here to the top panel. And then this button here is actually a reset button. So if it stops heating, just hit that and it will hopefully make it work again and start heating again. So at the bottom here we've got our rear outlet pipe, which we attach our flexi PVC pipe to vent out into the outside world. Although in this case we can't, because we don't have a hole for it. But since it's not a permanent fixture for me, because obviously I've only had it for like 5 minutes. There we go. Alright, so that comes away and you can attach your hose to it a lot easier. Nice. So there you go, there's 7 kilo loaded up and ready to go. So on the standard setting, it should take, according to the manual, around 2 hours 10. Depends how fast the clothes were spun. These are spun at around 1200 RPM. If you've got a faster spinning machine, the shorter it will take. The 130 minutes or 2 hours 10, as stated, is based on 1000 RPM. So this might take a little less time, may take a little bit more time. So while we're running, the program light will flash up, will flash repeatedly. Will flash repeatedly. Yeah, keep it running then. Right, so we're actually all complete. So after 2 hours has elapsed on the anti-crease light will eventually go out as well, and all the lights will go off. Cool. Take a look then. Well, everything's actually dry. Wow. Not bad. Right, so what to give it out of 10 then? Well, I thought about it, and it's going to get 8 out of 10. Because actually, you get a lot for your money. You get sensor drying, you get multi-level sensor drying, which is pretty good. The sensor drying works, which is pretty good. You do have obviously a lack of time programs because you only have one. You have a 1 hour program, but in the most part, if you're going to dry load for load out of your washing machine into your tumble dryer, then you're going to pretty much just use the sensor programs all the time. Build quality wise, obviously there's an issue with the filter, but it's a really good filter, so that's what's weird. So normally I'd mark it down, but I've marked it up because of the quality of the filter. And there's nothing really here to break, you know. So as for reliability goes, the only problems is that I've seen a lot where people have complained that it's no longer heating, but that might just involve hitting the reset button at the back. And the only other thing is where it either under sensors drying or over sensors drying. I've had one where it's been over sensing drying, so it doesn't know when to stop, so it just stops after like 2.5 hours randomly for any load. But other than that, if you get a good one, you're onto a good one. I think this is about 3, 4, 5 year old now, so I'm not too sure. It was bought after I used after about 2 years, and then it just stood around for a year. So yeah, it's probably about 3. Pretty good.